After one good and one bad experience, I knew that Jak 3 was going to be the decider for how I would look back on this entire franchise. Now I finished it, I know exactly where I stand. Developer Naughty Dog isn't exactly what you would call a up-and-comer, despite most of their modern day success being generated by a couple of underground hits.
That's cute.
So what if I told you that the must-play game for Naughty Dog fans in 2022 isn't any of these, but a PS2 game from 2004?
Sir, I'm afraid you've gone mad with power.
Of course I have. You ever tried going mad without power? It's boring. No one listens to you.
But before I tell you why it's a must-play game, let me ask you a question. How likely are you to pick up a PS2 game in 2022? Let me know why you would or wouldn't in the comments below. Now, if you've seen my Jak 2 video, you'd know I had a few issues with it. Namely, the hub world, the vehicles, the mission types, and the gunplay. And all of them are back for the sequel. If I had to focus on the things that I loved about Jak 3 though, then I guess I would have to tell you about the hub world, the vehicles, the mission types, and the gunplay.
I know!
Go figure. Everything that I didn't like about Jak 2 was back, but bigger, better, and bolder than ever. Well played, Naughty Dog. Jak 3 has added a brand new hub area. Welcome to the Wasteland. Mad Max eat your heart out, and with it comes new missions and vehicles. These two do go hand in hand, as most missions in the Wasteland have you traveling across the desert, doing races, bringing down giant metalheads, even platforming, and that's just some of the things you'll be doing. But they didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, whatever the hell that means, and instead polished up the areas they introduced in Jak 2 and put them on full display here. Haven City is back, but not like how you left it in Jak 2. It's now the setting of the world's final stand, and it breathes life and excitement into every street. With the city transformed, those familiar with Jak 2 will get a huge kick out of exploring familiar places that have been changed in unique and interesting ways, making you say things like,
I used to eat that. Really good noodles.
Speaking of things that are familiar yet different, let's talk weapons. All the guns are back from the original game, but don't forget what we said before. Bigger, better, and bolder applies here too. Everything feels more refined and accurate to use, and each weapon now has 3 modes you can unlock to change how that weapon operates. Both these changes mean that there's something here to suit every situation and every playstyle, placing the emphasis on power over precision. Then there are the missions themselves. Honestly, I was floored by the amount of variety and creativity on show here. It's like, well, you know when you go to a buffet for the first time and you see what's on offer and you just know you're going to be in for one hell of a Tuesday afternoon? Well, it's kind of like that.
I'll have what I'm having!
And part of what makes these missions more engaging is the fact that almost all of them feel relevant and important to the story that's going on around it. The cast of characters that surround Jak are almost all returning characters, even if some of the OGs did get a little shafted in this one. But I would argue that every character is more interesting or entertaining than they've ever been. The writing in the game is the best in the series, and they definitely aren't afraid to have some fun with it.
This isn't a game.
If it's not clear by now, I think that Jak 3 is the culmination of the ideas Naughty Dog introduced with Jak and Daxter and Jak 2, and tied it all together in a way that delivered a payoff that I legitimately didn't think was possible. But I still haven't told you why this is a must-play Naughty Dog game, especially in the year of our Lord 2022. I'll tell you why after asking for your help. If you're enjoying this, then hit the like button so it can spread to more people. It's a huge way to support me, and I really do appreciate it. Okay. Now I'll tell you why. Naughty Dog has provided every generation of PlayStation console with a major franchise. Crash was a PS1 mascot that was arguably ahead of its time, while Jak and Daxter shared that burden of being one of the iconic platforming duos of the PS2 generation. Uncharted showed that games could be just as cinematic and compelling as any film, and The Last of Us bookended the life of the PS4 and made players feel emotions so real it resulted in many of their fans screaming at them. The Naughty Dog we know today is not the same Naughty Dog that brought a Bandicoot into millions of homes across the globe. Much like the trilogies they've developed, they themselves have constantly evolved to become the best studio they can be, which in turn is what's got them recognized as one of the best studios in the world. And modern day Naughty Dog can be traced right back to Jak 3. Yes, everything they've done to this point had led to that moment, but this was the first example of them in the modern era, with an engaging story, clever writing, set pieces, and a keen attention to detail in their world, all things we would one day come to associate with the studio. I mean, I don't want to have to do more side-by-sides, but come on. Seriously, that's like exactly the same. So if you're a Naughty Dog fan, or you've never played Jak 3, or maybe both, I would highly recommend picking this game up, dusting it off, and taking a trip back to where we got our first glimpse of a now legendary studio. It is just as fun and accessible in 2022 as it was at launch, so you're definitely not too late to check it out for yourself if you're still on the fence. Take it from someone who played it for the first time last week. This franchise has been a roller coaster where I have felt almost every game has been entirely different. If you enjoyed this and you want to know my thoughts on those games, then you can find them right here. If this is the second or third time you're watching one of my videos and you haven't subscribed, it might be the universe giving you a sign, and that's something we really don't want to mess with. I'll even try and make it worth your while, because next week we're covering the original Ratchet & Clank, and you don't want to miss that. See you in the next video.